Example 2.3, find the area between two curves. So we have the function f of x equals sine of x and g of x equals cosine of x. And in this example, we want to find the area between these two graphs over the interval 0 to pi. Now, it's very important that you observe that f of x is over g of x and g of x is over f of x in two different regions. So in order to find the area, we will need to break this integral into two parts. So notice that it's an absolute value here, and we do not have an antiderivative or an absolute value function. So we have to break absolute value into different interval in order to solve for the integral. So let's take a look. G of x is over f of x in this yellow area, and g of x is f of x is over g of x in the green area. So we will solve our problem, but before that, before we can break the integral, we have to solve for when the two graphs intersect. So we need to solve when sine of x will equal cosine of x. And the solution, and you should remember, they intersect at pi over 4. So the point that we are interested in right here is pi over 4. Now we solve the problem by calling the function, okay, area, or calling the formula. Area equal integral from 0 to pi, right? That's the interval. Absolute value of f of x, so sine of x, subtract cosine of x dx. Okay, so this, you're telling me that you know, okay, what formula to use and what are the functions. Then you have to break the integral. So from 0 to pi over 4, okay, actually cosine of x is bigger than sine of x. So we do it this way, we subtract it this way, then it's positive. So dx. Then over the interval pi over 4 to pi, the function f of x, so sine of x is greater. So we rewrite the integral this way, then we will be able to solve for the values. Now you just take the integral term by term. The antiderivative of cosine is sine of x. The antiderivative of sine of x is negative cosine of x. So we solve for the value from plug in value pi over 4 and then subtract when you plug in the value 0. And then you add the next area. Antiderivative of sine of x is negative cosine of x, and antiderivative of cosine of x is sine of x. So we evaluate from pi and then subtract it from pi over 4. So you will get square root of 2 minus 1 plus 1 plus square root of 2. And then you add this 2 parentheses up, you get 2 square root of 2. So this is how you solve for the area between two curves. And please make sure you observe that f of x is on top of g of x or vice versa. That's how when you use this formula.